VigilanteWilliamson here with a very simple question. That is, does anybody really want to see this Francis Ngannou Tyson Fury fight? I say that coming off the heels of the abysmal TalkSport Frank Warren interview, in which he looked like a fool and laughed off other competitors in the heavyweight division. And on top of that, and looking at the feedback, I can't help but to notice that the feedback from both MMA and boxing fans is that both of these guys are ducks. Despite what I might feel about Francis in the UFC and the way Dana White treats his fighters, a lot of people feel Francis Ngannou ducked Jon Jones. And it's undisputable with anyone who witnessed the past 6 or 7 months of Tyson Fury's, ducking and crazy videos and crazy offers to Usyk, that he doesn't want to fight Alexander Usyk. So both of the competitors in this fight are fighting people who the people don't want to see them fight. Even if Francis was still in the UFC and fighting someone not named Jon Jones, and even if Tyson Fury was fighting a legitimate competitor, a Frank Sanchez, Philip Hrgovic, something like that, people will want to see Jon Jones and Ngannou. People will want to see Usyk and Fury. Those are the fights that people want to see for each respective fighter. So this fight is not going to be the big event, at least financially, that I think a lot of people think that it might be. Now, I say that knowing that it's in Saudi, knowing that Saudi doesn't necessarily always look for a return on investment in terms of financially. They are looking for their return on investment as far as making Saudi Arabia and the Middle East a tourist spot. So they don't necessarily care about getting their money directly back from the fight, which is a good thing because I don't think they would. Again, both of the fan bases of each respective sport and fighter are looking for these guys to fight other people. On top of that, there is a culture thing. The UFC is not as big in the UK as boxing is, and vice versa for the US. So I noticed that when I watch some of these UK boxing channels, they don't know who Francis Ngannou is. They don't follow the UFC. They only follow boxing. And so they're not going to have any real, feeling about wanting to see this fight. On top of that, unlike Mayweather and McGregor, and unlike some of these Logan Paul fights, there's not going to be that same talk people into it. Say what you will about Conor McGregor, he talked a lot of people into that Mayweather fight. Even people who didn't know who he was, who didn't know about UFC, he talked people into the building. And Francis Ngannou, God bless him, he does not have that ability. Tyson Fury to an extent does, but he's pissed off a lot of his fan base, myself included. I was a huge fan of Tyson Fury, but I can't co-sign the way he's been acting in recent months and recent years. So I don't think this fight is going to be as big as people want it to be, or at least as the powers that be, so to speak, the people who are involved in this fight and promoting this fight. I don't think it's going to be the fight that people think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a lot more lackluster. I don't think the coverage is going to really be there from the mainstream media, and I think a lot of people view this as a distraction for both fighters when they should be doing other things. I am, again, a little bit more sympathetic towards Ngannou. I feel like Dana White does not do right by his fighters. I don't think that's news to anyone, but there are a lot of people who are UFC loyalists who are pretty negative on Ngannou for not taking the Jon Jones fight. And listen, I want to see him fight Jon Jones myself. I think Jon will win, but I still want to see the fight, and I want to see Usyk and Fury fight, or at least Fury fight some more of these competitors, and that's not what I'm getting. We're getting this show, this circus. And it's not going to be the biggest circus in town. I think the Logan Paul fights and the Jake Paul fights are more circusy. I did something on the Wings of Redemption fight a few months ago. I think if we're going to get the circus, we can get more circusy than Ngannou and Fury. And if we want legitimate fights at either discipline, we can get much more legitimate fights than Ngannou and Fury. Plus, there's talk about a two-way rematch clause. I mean, listen, man, I don't think we're going to want to see this fight once, let alone twice. But whatever happens, happens. What do you guys think of what's going on with this fight. If you like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged to share and subscribe, please do that. But even if you do none of these things, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Good night and God bless. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.